Welcome to class. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to play with some back bends and slowly work our way up to some variations of back bending postures. And I really encourage you to think of the kind of focus of this class, though, less about back bends and more about just doing things your way, not trying to fit into any kind of box or expectation about what these back bends should look like, but rather letting yourself just kind of express how you're feeling through these back bends. And I wanted to kind of present this theme of like just doing things your way and not being like a copycat, because the yoga mat company that I'm an ambassador for, Lifeform, they're a great company and they do really amazing work for not just the yoga community, but also for the environment, and they donate to some really awesome charities as well. And they have been the victim of copycats. There's companies out there that are making yoga mats that look like Lifeform mats, but they are not Lifeform mats, and they're probably not companies that donate to charity or put environment over profit. And so just a little shout out to Lifeform for being such an amazing company. I understand, of course, we're all on different budgets, and so sometimes it's just about getting what you can afford. But just look out for those copycat mats, and look out also for the sales, the massive sales that Lifeform often runs. And you can always get a discount with my code, which is just my name, Adell, A-D-E-L-L. There's a link in the description as well for that. But yeah, just in the spirit of not being a copycat, not trying to copy what other people are doing, but expressing yourself in the way that feels right for you in this moment, we'll get started. So come to a seated position, just whatever feels comfortable, and take a moment with your arms resting maybe down in your lap or on your knees to close your eyes or just gaze down at the floor in front of you. Take a few calming, deep breaths here, and allow your focus to move from the world around you to the environment that's just here with you on your yoga mat. Perhaps just bringing your awareness to the temperature of the air on your skin, the pace perhaps of your breath and your heartbeat, and just recognizing that wherever you are, you can meet yourself right there. You do not have to change anything. You're simply in control of your reaction to how you feel and how you are right here, right now. Good, and slowly open your eyes back up. Bring the arms straight up overhead. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, lower the left arm down and reach the right arm over to the left, stretching out through the right side body. Hold it here. Take a nice deep inhale. All the way into the lungs, stretching out the right side of the body. And exhale, just let the air fall out of you naturally. Again, take a nice deep inhale. Maybe sip in a little bit of extra air. And then just let the exhale fall out. Good. Resume just natural breathing and hold on to this side stretch. Now, twist your body to look up to the ceiling, and then twist your body to look down. Good. 2 more like that. Inhale and exhale, twisting up and twisting down. 1 more time. All right, lovely. Come back to center, reach the left arm up, nice and long and tall. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lean the left arm over to the right, stretching through the left side body. Again, take a nice deep inhale. Stretching as if you're blowing up a balloon inside of you. The left side body lengthening long. Holding that inhale, and then we'll slowly just let the air seep out of us. Again, nice deep inhale. Hold it. Maybe sip in a little bit of extra air. And then let it fall out. Good. Resume just natural breathing as you twist your body to look up to the ceiling and then down to the floor, holding onto the side bend as we twist up and down. Make sure that you're twisting fully through the upper spine and not just through your neck and shoulders. One more time, up and down. Good. Come back through center and turn to face the short side of your mat, the top of your yoga mat. Come to a tabletop position. For now, tops of the feet on the mat, and just rock forward and back a few times. Press the fingers down, press the knuckles of the fingers down into the mat. Maybe press your chest a little bit further away from the mat. Turn the elbow creases to face forwards. Just feel all of this engagement from the fingers all the way up to the shoulders. Perhaps rocking a little bit more forward. Good. Come back through neutral, through your tabletop position, shoulders over the wrists. Take an inhale and move to your cow pose, reaching the crown of the head up to the ceiling, the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. And as you exhale, round into your cat pose. So bring the chin to the chest. Squeeze the glutes around your sit bones. Maybe even reach back there and touch your sit bones. Remind yourself exactly where they are, those ischial tuberosities, and see if you can squeeze the muscle around those bones to bring your sit bones a little bit closer together. Pull the ribs in a little bit more, and hopefully you're still breathing. All right, inhale, back to your cow pose. Again, make it nice and slow and deliberate. Maybe pull the shoulder blades down and towards each other a little bit more, finding openness through the chest. Good, and then round once again into your cat pose, chin to chest, but really focus on those sit bones, drawing together and down towards the knees, tucking the pelvis, lengthening through the low back. All right, come back through center. Maybe step the knees together. Take the right leg back to the back of the mat. Tuck both toes under now. All right, so maybe stretch out through the bottom of the feet of both legs. And when you're ready, lift that right leg up. Bend the knee. Again, take an inhale, move to a cow pose. So same little back bend as before, but this time imagine you're trying to get your toe to touch your head. Now we're gonna move to cat pose, but try and keep your leg as high up off the mat as it is. So rounding through the upper back, drawing the chin to the chest, but also try and tuck the pelvis just like we did before in our cat pose. But there's a little battle going on because your right knee is trying to stay up off of that yoga mat. Good, inhale. Back to your cow pose, just find a nice little back bend. That right glute, your right booty muscle should really be firing up now. And round back to your cat pose. Again, same as before. Keep the knees high up off the mat as you can, but simultaneously try and tuck the pelvis. Good, one more time, cow, arch into your back bend, and cat. All right, we're not quite done yet. Can you slowly walk your hands back towards your left knee and just go back as far as you can where your right knee stays off the mat. No cheating, no letting it go out to the side. Keep it directly back behind you. Maybe you can get your left hip all the way down on the left heel. Maybe you want to use some yoga blocks to prop yourself up, or maybe you can even come up off of your hands. Maybe that left knee even comes up. I'm not quite there. All right, walk the hands back, forward, and lower. Bring your right knee all the way to where your thumbs are, so the right toes are touching the left knee. We're making a couple little triangles now. Maybe you stay here with the hands down, pull your left heel to your butt, and give me that tuck of the tailbone again. So same kind of position of the pelvis, really lengthening through the low back, opening up through the front of the left thigh. If you like, stay here, maybe come up onto fingertips, maybe grab some blocks, or maybe, again, hands free, you can balance here in this little kneeling balance. And if you want to take up the challenge a little bit higher, wherever your hands are, hands-free or down, can you just take your gaze over to the left and look up? Imagine that there's a bird flying overhead and you're tracing that bird as you bring your eyes up and then over to the right side of you, and then bring your gaze back forward. Good. Lower your hands down if they're up, just to step the left knee to meet the right. Rise up into a kneeling position. And again, bring your hands to your hips to help you guide your hips to that posterior tilt, so drawing the sit bones towards each other, down towards the knees. You can tuck the toes under behind you or leave the tops of the feet flat. What we're gonna do is think cat pose. So rounding through the upper back, bringing the abdominals in, trying to find that roundedness through the spine, but obviously we're opening up now through the hip flexors. So maybe this is enough for you. If you want to take it up a notch, can you lean back? If you're on the tops of your feet, this is going to be even harder. So if it feels too much, just tuck the toes under. So how far can you go back without losing that cat shape through the pelvis and the upper back? Come back to your kneeling position if you've leaned back. Maybe just, give the quads and hip flexors a little massage. And we'll do that 2 more times. So same as before, just set it up, get that cat pose through the pelvis, through the ribs pulling in, and lean back. See how far you can go without losing that form. Long through the low back. You should really feel this all through the front of the body and maybe a little bit in the glutes. All right, come back up. Shake it out, maybe just give a little tapping, massage through those muscles. Last time, just hold it there, same as before, or maybe just hold your cat pose, maybe that's enough. But if you want to take it up 1 more little notch, we're going to twist to the left and then side bend to lean our body a little bit further to the mat, and side bend to lean our body forward. 2 more like that. Side bend to the mat, side bend forward, because we're in our twist. 1 more time. Make sure you're breathing, make sure you're still holding on to your pelvis. Come back to your sort of unside twisted, unside bent twist, and then untwist back to this sort of, I call it a sissy camel. All right, tuck the toes under, good job. Lower the hands down, just in front of the knees. Press through the shoulders, so protract your shoulders to lift your body away from the mat. Tops of the feet on the mat, everybody, and can you just lift the knees up? And maybe spend some time here just stretching up through the front of the feet, the front of the ankles. Now, that may feel like enough for you, but if you want to, you can play around with just walking the feet all the way back to plank. Squeeze those glutes. Still on the tops of the feet. Maybe you even flow through a vinyasa here, staying on the tops of the feet. Keep those glutes active in your back bend. And can you move to a downward facing dog, still on the tops of the feet? If that feels like too much, just switch them out. Alternate one foot and then the other. Play around with bringing a little bit more weight into one foot and then the other in your downward facing dog until you're comfortable holding both feet in that downward facing dog. Good. We'll untuck the toes, so bottom of the feet back to the mat as we walk our feet all the way up to the front. Hip width distance, rise up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, fold down into a nice gentle bent knee, standing forward fold. Keep the knees bent as you just roll yourself nice and slow all the way up to stand. Reach the arms up nice and tall. Give your body a good stretch. Then bring your hands down to heart center. Step your weight into the left foot. And can you just pull the right leg into the right hip? You should start to feel the left glute, especially along the outside, your gluteus medius working. Can you now pull your right knee up towards your chin? Keeping the left knee straight though. So if that means that your right knee doesn't come up as high, that's okay. Try and hold the left knee straight. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, can you just give me a little bend of the knee? That left knee, squeeze that glute. So same kind of movement as before, holding on to like a cat shape through the upper body as we just lean the body back, just like we did in our kneeling position, to bend the knee. Doesn't have to be a big bend. Could just be a little tiny thing that nobody even sees, you just feel it in your body. All right, rise back up through center, reach the arms up overhead and take the leg back behind you. Imagine you're trying to get your toes to touch your hands. So find a little back bend here. So same kind of theme as before of what we've been doing. So kind of a weird cat-shaped back bend where we're really working on the glutes and opening up through the front of the hip in our kind of like one-legged weird sissy squat thing, and then into a more traditional back bend, reaching the arms back and the toes towards those hands. One more time, can you bring the right knee back to your chest, bend into the left knee, squeeze those glutes, make sure you've got kind of cat shape going on. Good, and one more time towards that active dancer pose, reaching the arms back towards your hands. Can you just bend into the left knee and step the right foot to the back of the mat? Lower your hands down to your hips, lower the left knee down. Bring the hips back over that left knee, and again, just think about that same pelvis position, trying to tuck the tailbone, bringing the sit bones towards each other, lengthening through the low back, and hold on to that as you then press the hips forward a little bit more. So really finding a nice length through the front of the right thigh. You can stay here or have your hands on your knee, or maybe reach them up overhead, bending the elbows. Can you take your head back? So not finding so much a back bend, more just what the head is doing, and take the eyes back as well. Good, rise back up through neutral. Two more like that. You can also add, if you want, bending the right knee as if you're trying to get your hands to the toes again, and come back through center. So make sure before we do that last one, you haven't lost the tilt of the pelvis. We're still holding on to activation. And one more time, take the head back. Maybe the right foot comes up as well. Good, lovely. Lower the hands down to the front of the mat. Tuck the toes and lift the right knee up. And what we're gonna do is just step that right leg all the way forward, shoot it through, and roll down onto your back. Lovely, so bend the right knee to meet the left, feet flat. Bring the hands down to the mat, down by your sides for now. Once again, tuck the tailbone to press your low back firmly into the mat. Press your feet into the mat as if you're trying to make a perfect footprint in wet cement or wet sand. And holding on to this activation, begin to lift your hips up. Imagine you're trying to get your tailbone and your sit bones higher than your low back. So holding on again to a kind of cat shape through the pelvis as we open up through the front of the hips and the quads. Good. Lower back down. Repeat that if you want, or if you want to take it up a notch, bring your arms up overhead, bend the elbows, place the palms flat. Now to begin, you can have your fingers pointing out wide, okay? Now, tuck the tailbone, lift the hips up, hold on to those glutes, really trying to get those hips in your cat shape as much as possible. But now can you just press your hands into the mat and just lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Stay where you are with your hips up. Just rotate your hands so the fingers now point back towards your feet. Same as before, press into your hands, just lift your head and your shoulders up. One more time, maybe find another position with your hands. So just kind of changing it up slightly. Hips are still high, holding onto that cat shape through the pelvis. Pull the elbows in, and can you just lift your shoulders and your head off the mat and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. The booty muscles burning yet? Hope so. All right. So hug your knees into your chest and roll up over your ankles back into a kneeling position to lower the hips onto the heels. All right. One last little thing here. Take your left hand back behind you and crawl it as far back as you need to so you can place that hand flat. Remember, try and hold on to that cat shape through the upper body, but simultaneously press out through that shoulder and bring the elbow all the way around to the outside. So we're externally rotating through the upper arm. Now, maybe this is enough, or if you like, you can begin to, with the tuck of the tailbone, lift the hips up. So what you can do here, if it feels all right, slowly untwist yourself to bring the chest to face up to the ceiling. Then twist back. Look down towards your left hand. Look up to the ceiling, twisting your chest up towards the ceiling, and then twist to look back down towards your hand. One more time, look up to the ceiling and hold. Make sure that the glutes are still active, finding that length through the low back. And maybe you take the right arm and just reach it back and find a little bit more of a back bend here. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, lower the hips down, allowing yourself to twist down to unravel. Good job. Lower the hands down, step the legs back to your tabletop position, and just take a moment to assess how everything is feeling, having done one side before we move into the other. Maybe notice if you need to do things just a little bit more your way and not trying to fit into like what your ego wants your body to do or anything like that. Make sure you're listening to your body's voice over my voice. All right, when you're ready, take the left leg back. Tuck the toes of both legs, and again, maybe just stretch out the bottoms of the feet. When you're ready, lift that left leg up and bend the knee. Inhale into your cow pose. Bring the top of the head towards the toe and the toe to the head. As you exhale, round into your cat pose, but keep that left knee high up off the mat. Just notice if you're trying to compensate or if there's any compensation happening, like you're twisting around. Can you get your pelvis parallel to the floor? Make sure that your knee isn't over to the left and your ankle to the right. Can you stack your ankle directly on top of your knee back there? Good. Two more like that. Inhale, open up to your cow pose, retract those shoulder blades behind you, and then exhale to your cat, keeping that left knee high up off the mat. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Tuck the pelvis as much as you can, but keep that knee high. All right, almost done, but first we've got our squat. So slowly walk the hands back. Remember, just go as far as you can, keeping that left knee off of the mat, and no cheating, letting it slide off to the side, all right? So maybe your hips actually land on your right heel. Maybe you can even come up onto fingertips. Perhaps you're on blocks. Perhaps you can even lift that knee up. Oh my gosh, so hard. Let's walk our hands back to the front of the mat. Bring the left knee forward to your chest and lower it down next to the thumbs so the left toes are kind of able to tickle the right knee. So again, maybe you stay here with your hands down or on fingertips. Everybody though, give me a nice tuck of the pelvis. Maybe pull the right heel to the butt. You should really feel the lengthening through the front of the thigh. And maybe you're even up on blocks, or you can rise up into a hands-free balance. Just as before, wherever you are, if you want to add a little gaze challenge, can you look over to the right this time? Imagine that you see a bird and it takes off, or maybe it's Superman or Wonder Woman, flying through the sky as you bring your gaze up overhead and over, down to the left, and back in front of you. Good job. Lower the hands down so you can step the right knee to meet the left, about hip width distance. Rise up into your kneeling position. Maybe, give it a little shake. Those glutes working hard. So just like before, you can tuck the toes under, or tops of the feet make this a little bit harder. I'm gonna take it up a notch. I tucked my toes last time, so I'm gonna try it on tops of the feet this time. So give me that cat shape, tucking the tailbone, lengthening through the low back, pulling the ribs in towards each other. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you lean back. How far can you go without losing that cat shape and still come up? All in that same form. Two more like that. Lean it back. And come back up. Last time we lean it back And if you want to add on, twist to the right this time, and then side bend, bringing your right shoulder down towards the mat, and side bend to the left, bringing your left shoulder towards the front of the mat. Good, 2 more like that. Side bend to the right and to the left. Breathe as you go. Squeeze those glutes. Good. Still twisted under your side bend, then under your twist. Make sure that you're still finding length through the low back, and then rise up. Good. Lower the hands down. Just like before, we're going to play around with stretching out the tops of the feet. So maybe you just kind of rock back on the tops of the feet and rock back forward, and that's all you got, and that's fine. Wherever you are, remember, you're not trying to fit into anybody else's box, just building your own beautiful mold. All right, but maybe you want to walk all the way back to a downward facing dog, do a full vinyasa, all on the tops of the feet. When you get back to your downward facing dog, though, you can untuck the feet and slowly walk them up to the front of the mat. Hip width distance, come up halfway, find length through the spine. Exhale, fold down in a nice gentle forward fold. Bend the knees so you can rise all the way up to stand. Stretch the arms. Give your whole body a nice little stretch and reset, and then shift your weight into your right foot. Pull the left leg into the hip. Feel that right glute starting to work. If you feel unstable on one foot, maybe just look down and make sure your feet are active, your toes are spread. There's lots of balance hacks that we could do, but we'll just stick to the nice, good old-fashioned, make sure the foot is active for now. Now, can you bring the left knee to your chest and hold here? Make sure that the right leg is still straight. You should really feel that right glute starting to work hard back there. Good. Now, with your hands maybe on your hips or at your chest, can you find that cat shape once again through the upper body? Let the right knee bend and lean the torso back as the right knee bends a little bit more. This should feel strong on your knee, really good on your knee. If your knee feels unhappy or shaky, first check that the glute is active. The right glute is squeezing hard. If it's not, that may help. If it's squeezing hard and you're still getting pain, please just don't go into that pain. All right, so just play around with how far can you lean your chest back. All right, let's go into our back bend now. So left knee back behind you, reach the arms up, bend the elbows as if you're trying to get your hands to touch your toes. Maybe you do reach and you find some contact. Left knee back to the chest, lean the torso back as you bend into the right knee in your cat shape through the torso. One more like that into your back bend, your active dancer. And forward, knee to chest as you lean back. Good. Little active dancer real quick, and then bend into the right knee. Bring the left to the back of the mat. Lower the knee down. Bring your hands to your hips and shift your hips back over that left knee. Again, bring your pelvis into that position that we've been working with. And then shift your hips forward. Just like before, you can have your hands wherever it feels safe and comfortable for you. We're going to take the head back though. So try and avoid going into a full back bend. Make it just about what your head is doing, holding on to that lengthening through the front of the left thigh. If you want to add on, bring the left heel to the butt. Maybe the arms go overhead. Okay, one more time. Take the gaze up and back. Maybe you're adding arms and a leg to that, maybe not. All right, lower the leg down, bring your gaze back to center, lower your hands down in front of your right foot, lift the left knee up. We're just gonna shoot it all the way through to lower the hips down onto the mat. Roll back, lower the left foot to meet the right, but hip width distance. All right, so we'll play with that bridge pose again, and I'll give you an option to press up to a wheel pose as well. But just to begin with, bring the arms up overhead, bend the elbows to place the fingertips flat. If it feels just like way uncomfortable having the fingertips pointing directly to the front of the mat, you can gently, just slightly turn them out, but make sure that the elbows are staying in so you can recruit all the strength through the shoulders and arms. Press the low back into the mat, squeeze the muscles around your sit bones and lift the hips up. Just like before, press your hands into the mat, see if you can lift the head and the shoulders. This time though, take the head back and gently place like just 5% of your body's weight on the top of your head. Take a nice breath here, squeeze the glutes, and I want you to imagine that you're pressing your chest all the way back over your hands. So as you press into your hands and lift your chest up, squeeze those glutes, but try and press your chest to stay on top of your hands. Good. Breathe wherever you get to. However high up you get, take a nice breath in and out there. Keep holding, keep squeezing those glutes. One more breath. Good, and then lower back down the way you came. So maybe stop on the top of your head. Give yourself a little breather there. Then lift the head up to bring the chin to the chest, lower the shoulders down, and slowly roll the rest of your body down. Good job. Hug your knees into your chest just to roll up back into that kneeling position. Tops of the feet on the mat. This time, spin to the right to lower your right hand down. Maybe the palm is flat, maybe you're just on fingertips, but wherever you are, can you just give me that cat shape one last time? Maybe the pelvis even starts to lift up off of the heels a little bit. Press out through the shoulder. Make sure that your shoulder feels strong and happy. You're externally rotating through the humerus, the arm bone. So elbow creases spinning around to face back behind you. Then maybe with the tuck of the pelvis, that posterior tilt, you start to lift the hips up. Just like before, nice and slow and gentle, can you go from your twist to untwist, bringing the chest up towards the ceiling. Twist back down to look at your right hand and back up to the ceiling. One more time like that. And once you're back in your untwisted position, can you just stay here, make a bit of adjustment through the pelvis, something else that maybe needs to happen wherever your body is feeling you need to just find a deeper stretch that feels good or move out of a position that doesn't feel good. And when you're ready, lower the hips back down to bring yourself back to your kneeling position. Good. So just bring the feet out in front of you and bring yourself down onto your back once again. Bring your arms out wide like a cactus. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower the knees over to the left for a nice little twist. Feels so good. We're not going to stay there for long. Just bring the knees back up to your chest and exhale, lower them to the right. Good. 2 more like that. Knees to center. Inhale. Exhale as you lower them to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Repeat that in your own way. Maybe you don't want to go so fast and you want to hold your twists, whatever works for you. If you're with me, we're just exhaling one more time to bring the knees to the right. And when you're back through center, make any little movements that you feel you need. Hopefully that little flow has not made you feel in any way that you need to do like a low back massage or anything like that, because we've been trying to keep all the back bend out of our low back and open up through the quads and the hip flexors, the chest, the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself into a resting position with your feet at the corners of your mat, your arms down by your side, palms facing up, and I invite you to close your eyes and take a moment here to rest. And perhaps as you go into the rest of your day following this class, you can bring with you that reminder that it's nice to be inspired by others. It's always great to receive support and help from others and share with others. But at the end of the day, you can only be you. And there's always something to be said for not fitting yourself into a mold that you do not fit into. And perhaps that mold is something that you once fit into, but you've grown now. And do please stay here resting for as long as you need. But if you're ready, you can bring some movement back to your body, roll yourself back up to a seated position. And take this feeling of mindfulness and presence and peace with who you are and how you are into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this class, I would love to see you over on Move with Adell, where you can access a full-length version of this class where we flow for a little bit longer, go a little bit more into different shapes, and you'll also be able to, of course, access the whole library of classes, workshops, workouts, meditations, and so much more that I've got over there. The link for that is in the description, and you can start out with a free trial. So again, I would absolutely love to see you over there. Thank you again for joining me in this video. I hope that you'll have a wonderful rest of your day.